The scene opens with a sweeping view of the Persian Empire under Xerxes I, showcasing its vast wealth and power. Narrator explains how Xerxes, driven by ambition, sought to conquer Greece after his father Darius's defeat. Armies gather, and the Persian war machine begins its march westward toward the Greek city-states. In Greece, city-states like Athens and Sparta debate their response. The narrator describes the fragile alliance formed to resist Persia. Messengers race between cities, while Spartan warriors train relentlessly, their red cloaks billowing, preparing for the inevitable clash with the Persian juggernaut. King Leonidas I of Sparta, stern and resolute, rallies his elite 300 Spartans. The narrator highlights his decision to defy the oracle's warning and lead a small force to Thermopylae. His wife, Queen Gorgo, bids him farewell, urging him to return with his shield or on it. The Spartans march through rugged terrain toward the narrow pass of Thermopylae, joined by a few thousand Greek allies. The narrator explains the strategic importance of the choke point, where the Persians' vast numbers could be neutralized by disciplined Greek phalanxes standing firm. The Persian army, a sea of soldiers stretching to the horizon, nears Thermopylae. The narrator describes Xerxes watching from a golden throne, confident in his millions. Exotic units, immortals, archers, and cavalry prepare to crush the tiny Greek force standing in their path. The camera pans across the cliffs and see framing the narrow pass of Thermopylae. The narrator explains how Leonidas chose this spot to bottleneck the Persians, forcing them into a tight space where their numbers meant little against the Spartans' iron discipline and spears. Persian scouts clash with Greek outposts, signaling the battle's start. The narrator recounts how Leonidas' forces repel the initial probing attacks with ease, their shields locked and spears thrusting in unison, sending a message of defiance to Xerxes' vast horde. A Persian emissary demands the Greeks surrender their weapons. Leonidas famously replies, "Malan Labe, come and take them." The narrator emphasizes this moment of Spartan resolve as the emissary retreats shaken to report back to an enraged Xerxes. Xerxes unleashes his first wave of infantry against the Greeks. The narrator describes the chaos as Persian soldiers crash against the Spartan phalanx, only to be cut down by precise spear thrusts and shield bashes, their bodies piling up in the narrow pass. As night falls, the Greeks rest amidst the carnage, sharpening spears and repairing shields. The narrator reflects on their grim determination, knowing more Persian waves will come. Across the pass, Xerxes fumes, plotting his next move under flickering torchlight. Day 2 begins with Xerxes sending his elite immortals. The narrator describes their fearsome reputation, yet the Spartans hold firm, cutting through their ranks with ruthless efficiency. The pass becomes a slaughterhouse, testing even the immortals' resolve. Allied Greek forces, including Thespians and Thebans, fight alongside the Spartans. The narrator highlights their bravery, despite tensions between city-states, as they lock shields and repel wave after wave, proving their worth in the face of Persian aggression. Xerxes watches from afar, his confidence shaken as his best troops fall. The narrator describes his growing frustration and the pressure from his advisors to find a way past the Greek wall of shields, hinting at a sinister plan forming. A local Greek Ephialtes approaches Xerxes with a secret, a mountain path to outflank the Greeks. The narrator explains his betrayal driven by greed and how this revelation shifts the battle's tide, sealing the fate of Leonidas and his men. Persian scouts navigate the hidden mountain trail under Ephialtes' guidance. The narrator builds tension as they move silently, unseen by the Greeks below, preparing to encircle Leonidas' force and strike from behind in a devastating pincer attack. Day 3 dawns with ominous clouds. The narrator sets the scene as Leonidas learns of the betrayal from a runner. Knowing the end is near, he dismisses most allies, keeping only his 300 Spartans and a few loyal volunteers for a final stand. Persians attack from both sides, surrounding the Greeks. The narrator describes the Spartans fighting with ferocious intensity, their phalanx breaking into smaller knots of resistance, determined to make Xerxes pay dearly for every inch of ground taken. Leonidas, bloodied but unbowed, fights to his last breath. The narrator recounts his death under a hail of Persian arrows, a warrior king meeting his end with honor, inspiring his men to fight on even as their leader collapses in the dust. The remaining Spartans and allies are overwhelmed, fighting to the last man. The narrator describes the brutal final moments as Persian forces close in, ending the resistance at Thermopylae, yet cementing the Greeks' legacy of bravery against tyranny. Xerxes walks the battlefield, staring at the heaps of his dead soldiers. The narrator reflects on the Pyrrhic victory. Though he won Thermopylae, the delay and losses weaken his campaign, foreshadowing future Greek defiance and ultimate Persian defeat. Surviving Greek allies retreat to regroup. The narrator explains how Thermopylae's sacrifice buys time for Athens and others to prepare, turning Leonidas' defeat into a strategic rallying cry that galvanizes the fractured city-states against Persia. Messengers carry word of the Spartans stand across Greece. The narrator describes how the tale of 300 against millions stirs pride and resolve, igniting a fire in the Greek people to resist Xerxes' invasion no matter the odds. In Sparta, Queen Gorgo receives news of Leonidas' death. The narrator portrays her stoic strength as she vows to honor his sacrifice, rallying Sparta to continue the fight, her words echoing his courage and unyielding spirit. Xerxes' army marches on, burning villages and pressing toward Athens. The narrator notes the cost of Thermopylae slowing their momentum, giving the Greeks precious time to evacuate and plan their next move against the invaders. Athenians flee their city as Persian forces approach. The narrator describes the evacuation by sea, led by Themistocles, a desperate move to preserve their people and navy for the coming battle at Salamis, inspired by Thermopylae's stand. The narrator reflects on the enduring legacy of Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, whose sacrifice at Thermopylae becomes a timeless symbol of resistance. Their story inspires generations, proving that courage can shine even in defeat. Across Greece, people whisper of Thermopylae's heroes. The narrator emphasizes how this battle, though a loss, strengthens Greek unity and resolve, setting the stage for victories at Salamis and Plataea that will repel Xerxes' empire. Xerxes, emboldened by Thermopylae, underestimates the Greeks. The narrator hints at his hubris, believing his vast army invincible, unaware that the delay has given his foes the chance to outmaneuver him on land and sea. Themistocles, Athenian leader, plans a naval trap at Salamis. The narrator explains how Thermopylae's sacrifice informs his strategy, using narrow waters again to negate Persian numbers, turning their strength into a fatal weakness. The narrator ties Thermopylae to future triumphs, showing how its memory fuels Greek resistance. Leonidas' stand reverberates, proving that even in death, a few brave souls can shift the course of history against tyranny. Xerxes' navy assembles, a forest of ships ready to crush the Greeks. The narrator builds tension, describing their confidence as they sail toward Salamis, unaware of the trap inspired by Thermopylae's defiant spirit. Back at Thermopylae, a stone marker is raised for the fallen. The narrator recites the famous epitaph, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here obedient to their laws we lie, honoring their eternal sacrifice." The narrator foreshadows the Persian defeat at Salamis, where narrow straits again favor the Greeks. Thermopylae's delay proves crucial, weakening Xerxes' campaign and paving the way for Greece's ultimate survival and victory. After Salamis, Xerxes abandons his army and flees Greece. The narrator describes his humiliating retreat, leaving his dreams of conquest shattered, a direct consequence of the time and spirit bought by Thermopylae's heroes. The Greeks, united, defeat the remaining Persian forces at Plataea. The narrator ties this triumph to Thermopylae, showing how Leonidas' stand inspired the coalition that finally expels the invaders from Greek soil. In Sparta, widows and children honor the fallen 300. The narrator paints a scene of quiet pride amidst grief. As the city vows to uphold their legacy, their sacrifice a cornerstone of Spartan identity forever. The Greeks begin rebuilding their cities, free from Persian threat. The narrator reflects on how Thermopylae's memory strengthens their resolve, ensuring their culture and democracy endure as a beacon for future civilizations. The narrator recalls the oracle's prophecy of doom, now seen in a new light. Leonidas' death fulfilled it, yet his choice to fight turned fate into glory, proving even gods can't dim human courage. The narrator explores Thermopylae's broader meaning, a testament to unity, sacrifice, and defiance. It teaches that even small forces, when resolute, can alter destiny, a lesson echoing through history's countless struggles. The camera pans modern Thermopylae, now quiet. The narrator describes how the site remains a pilgrimage for those honoring courage, its cliffs and waters still whispering tales of the 300's unyielding stand. Scholars argue over Thermopylae's details, numbers, tactics, impact. The narrator notes how facts blur into legend, yet the core truth endures. A few stood against many, shaping history with their blood and bravery. The narrator delves into Spartan culture, discipline, honor, and sacrifice. Thermopylae embodies their ethos, where death in battle was the ultimate glory, a creed that made them legends among warriors. From the Persian view, Thermopylae was a minor delay. The narrator contrasts their records, which downplay the battle, with its outsized Greek legacy, revealing how victors and vanquished write history differently. The narrator honors the Thespians and Thebans who stayed with Leonidas. Though overshadowed by the 300, their choice to die beside Spartans proves Thermopylae was a shared Greek sacrifice, not just a Spartan one. Artists through time depict Thermopylae, paintings, poems, and plays. The narrator shows how each generation reimagines the battle, keeping its spirit alive, a muse for courage and resistance across centuries. The narrator analyzes the phalanx's brilliance at Thermopylae, a wall of shields and spears that defied odds. This tactic, honed by Spartans, influences warfare for centuries, a legacy of practical genius. Beyond glory, Thermopylae was tragedy, wives widowed, children orphaned. The narrator somberly recounts the personal toll, grounding the epic in human loss, a reminder that heroism carries a heavy price for those left behind. The battle grows into myth, blending fact and fiction. The narrator explores how exaggeration, 300 versus millions, amplifies its power, turning history into a timeless story of defiance that resonates beyond its era. Thermopylae inspires modern struggles, revolutions, last stands. The narrator connects it to today, where its tale of sacrifice and resistance still stirs those facing impossible odds, proving its relevance endures unbroken. The video ends with the narrator's final thoughts. Thermopylae is more than a battle, it's a mirror of humanity's grit and spirit. Leonidas and his 300 live on not in victory, but in the eternal fire of their stand.